This is the news that everybody saw late last night or early this morning, depending. And this is not some random thing. This is Hollywood Reporter. Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy expected to retire this year. The prolific producer has presided over the destruction of the Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises through ups and downs since 2012.
Ups?
Yeah. Look, I don't think you can't really make an argument about Force Awakens, being a financially successful film. And even at that period in time, I think it was, there was a lot of excitement surrounding Star Wars and things like that. That would be the up, I suppose. After that, it was pretty much all, baby, are you down, 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 down.
I think the only highlight for toy sales was the Baby Yoda craze.
Yeah.
In between season 1 and season 2 of Mando. And then, that don't last forever.
And so let's get into this a little. After more than a decade in a galaxy far, far away, Kathleen Kennedy's charting a course towards retirement. The Lucasfilm boss has told associates she plans to retire by the end of 2025. Puck reported Monday night. Reps for Kennedy and Lucasfilm were not immediately available for comment. Now, we should get into this. This is Puck News. This is Matthew Belloni. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. He used to work at Hollywood Reporter. He might have been like the editor for Hollywood Reporter for a period of time. One of the reasons I think it's important to note is I don't necessarily feel like Puck News is the most reliable name in entertainment news. However, we should point out, and I'll pull up my own video from November 15th, 2021, my birthday in 2021. It's time to take Star Wars movies away from Kathy Kennedy. This is a report from Puck, from Matthew Belloni, where despite all of the fake bullshit reports that Kathleen Kennedy was finally going to be fired and all of these things from like the usual associates, it was actually first reported by him that Kathleen Kennedy had gotten a contract extension. Okay. Yeah. And this was November 15th, 2021. That's where it was first reported. And obviously that was true. So now that the same person is coming out and saying this, does it lend a little more credence to it? I think certainly it does a little bit. However, we should go ahead.
No, that's probably why some of the mainstream media picked this up and started running with it than other Puck News that's come out before that kind of just stays within like the comic.com news circle and all that stuff. So
that's my guess. That is my guess as why this got, because again, if this was just a random fucking whatever bullshit fan site, it probably wouldn't get as much attention as it's getting because it's on the Hollywood Reporter. Now, we should point out that a follow-up by Variety, Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy planning to exit Lucasfilm at the end of 2025. A separate source close to Kennedy, however, dismissed the initial report by Puck as pure speculation and says nothing has been decided. So here we are in the same old thing.
A source says she's stepping down, but a source closer to her says, nah, that ain't it.
That's just speculation. Now, we talked about this a few days ago, and I've talked about this repeatedly over the course of the past several years. Kathleen Kennedy is getting old. She's an old bitch. If this happens, and if she steps aside, this doesn't mean anything changes at Lucasfilm. This doesn't mean anything's different for Disney Star Wars. It doesn't mean that Disney is firing her. She's aging out and she's leaving. And if this happens, it's going to be amid a big celebration and a thank you for her time there. Instead of what should have happened 5 or 6 years ago is she got fired for ineptitude and for the course of the franchise. But no, she continued to be there, continued to get blessings from Disney. And with everything that's continued to come out, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of people clamoring for, Favreau and Dave Filoni to take charge of this franchise. They can save it. Is that really what you think now? Like, I've been obviously very anti-Dave Filoni my entire fucking life. Ever since I heard this man's name, I've been anti-Dave Filoni when it comes to Star Wars. But now, with I felt like Mando season 2 was literally just jangling keys and bullshit. Mando season 3 was a fucking nightmare. Ahsoka is trash. Dave Filoni has been creatively involved in everything that Disney Star Wars has put out over the last 5 years. Okay? That's just the reality with his role at Lucasfilm. He has been. So I don't know who potentially would take the spot if this happens. Any one of the names on this Lucasfilm leadership list, I suppose. Dave Filoni looks more feminine than almost all of them. A lot of women up here in the top 6, aren't there?
I agree completely. If Star Wars or all of the properties at Lucasfilm was ever going to change, it's got to be a complete uprooting of everything. You know, it just for them to even to give people hope of change, just because she walks away gracefully whenever she feels like it, because she just wants to go vacation, and she'll probably speak at a lot of women's conferences moving forward. If she does leave this year, she'll get some awards and for all the work she's done, and like you said, she'll be celebrated, but that probably won't change a thing over at Star Wars or Indiana Jones or anything else. So
yeah, I mean, like this, it would not surprise me if this happens. I think we all should have the opinion. We'll believe it when we see it, right?
Correct.
With everything we've known about this. However, I think this report has a little more validity than the multitude of fake news bullshit that's been out there over the past 5 years of people claiming that they have secret sources that are saying this and saying that, which is never true. It was always lies. It was always bullshit. Because of what we've seen in the past with the reporting specifically from Matthew Baloney about the extension, about these things, probably has a little more validity to it. But the end of 2025 is a long way from now, period.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that she's got to go through this year. And I don't know if people saw this, but Gina tweeted this out when the news broke. Doesn't mean anything. Just sipping on some tea, I guess. Seeing everything that's happening, but she will have to go through that lawsuit that's supposed to be, I think July is when it heads to the court, and Kathleen Kennedy was named in it. So wouldn't that be crazy? That's her last thing she does. It's all speculation. She has to go to court for Gina Carano before she walks away and retires. Like, that'll be the last thing on her Star Wars resume, losing a court battle. Well, who knows what's going to happen with that thing, but that's the last thing she has to do. The thing is too is Star Wars Celebration is in April, and that's in Japan, and it does feel weird that this would kind of come out before that. I would assume that an announcement like this would kind of come out after Star Wars Celebration, unless they turn Celebration into a giant "we love you, KK, thanks for the memories" type of thing. You never know. You never know with these people.
Maybe that would be a good opportunity to her to do a little send off and say, I plan to step down in October, and this is going to be the person replacing me, and bring out another strong, powerful woman. We'll see. At the end of the day, Kathleen Kennedy is old. She's not going to be there forever. At some point, she's going to say enough is enough. To put it in perspective, Kevin Feige's in like his early 50s, right? Kathleen Kennedy is going to be 72 in June. And she's been in this role for fucking 15 years or 13 years, I suppose now. Yeah. So we'll all believe it when we see it. However, when you have places like The Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and Vanity Fair reported it, as opposed to just other things, including people that would, they're big advocates for Kathleen Kennedy. That's when you look at it and be like, well, we'll see. Seems like this has a better possibility than some other of the bullshit that we've seen in recent years.
You know what? I don't even think Jon Favreau would even want that job. I think he came in, and that's just me. I think he could have came in. He wanted to do The Mandalorian, a little side spin-off show. I didn't think he expected that show to be their big thing for Disney Plus, I guess. And that was it. Like, he just wanted to do a fun little side quest adventure. Not that would be the main, but I could be wrong.
More than that, I think that when you look at this is when it comes to both Favreau and Filoni, I think that Kathleen Kennedy's role is not really as a creator, right? It's a manager.
Right.
And I feel like both of them are probably more interested in making things and actually creating things. rather than being the
managing,
people that
right.
are sitting there hiring this person, hiring that person, hiring that person.
I do
obviously
think
don't know them, but that's like a guess.
I do think in my soul, I believe Kennedy thought that the Acolyte was going to be the rebirth of Star Wars television. You know, the way that they signed off on a show, they knew it had an ending that didn't end the series. You know, they were like, it just everything that looked into it. Apparently, she cried when she saw the script for the Acolyte, and then we're hearing all these things where it was like, yeah, the Acolyte had several seasons planned and possible a movie, so that probably was all discussed. There's no way that they would have just did that series and end it the way they did, not thinking that they were going to continue the story. But this is Lucasfilm, and then it bombed horribly, and they didn't. They decided not to move forward, just make a couple books to finish the tales. And maybe that was like her last thing. Like, well, didn't really go the way I planned, so I'll just step down at the end of the year. Bob Iger's looking to step down too. Like he's not going to be around much longer as well, even though he just got a freaking massive raise. So maybe they're all going to leave together. One big happy family.
Maybe. We'll see.